Good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of This Old Mine. As you see today, we're following a fire truck up the road. This is usually a bad sign. Normally there's an accident up here a couple of times in a week, a couple fatalities. So you got to be careful on these roads. This road takes no prisoners, so stay in your lane, don't pass over the line. Let's follow these trucks on up and see where they go. Okay, we've made it up past the ranger station here, and at the passing lanes, and we're starting to see traffic on the sides. People parked along the sides, sheriff's car or CHP. That means we're coming up to an accident scene. Being as that everybody's so spaced out, there's most likely a vehicle over the side. Turns out that this was a motorcycle that went off over the side. It went down a few hundred feet, and it actually took a few days for recovery service to get the vehicle back up. Here's another incident we spotted later that day on the way down. This is a vehicle that had gone over the edge and rolled down the mountain. Here's something that Edison fixed, but is a concern of mine. This is near the mine. It's a power line which is deteriorated. It's actually a guide line, a guide wire, but it was hanging down across the main lines, which is a good potential for a forest fire. Fortunately, they came out and fixed it within a week. But still, it's not a friendly thing to see. See, this is the guide wire. A few of the strands had snapped, and it wadded up in a knot here and hung down over the main lines below it. So this is some weather we had up here, kind of weird weather. It started warming up and then it snowed. See patches of snow up here on the hills. But you get down a little bit lower, down to the mill site, and there's virtually no snow here. Little patches here and there. Something here, sitting right next to the furnace. I'd seen some mouse droppings around, and I came across these mice hiding in the corner. Caught this mouse chewing on my glove, sitting on top of the bench, so I smacked them with the shovel, and here they are. And one of them still has a heartbeat. It wasn't long. I took care of them. So this is a project that my wife has been working on. It was opening up the dynamite storage vault, and we using the dirt that we excavated from the vault and from in front of it, we built this pathway, make it easier to get to. You used to have to go crashing through yucca plants and stickers and brambles and briars and such. Now we have a nice pathway. So our mountain dog. This is what we originally started with. That opening back there is the vault, the mine dynamite storage vault. All this dirt had washed down in front of it over the past 70 years or so. So we had some dirt moving to do. Or actually I should say my wife did a lot of the dirt moving. She did the the shovel, and I manned the dirt moving. Here's after we got a lot of it cut down. We used the kill dozer to move the dirt once we got a pathway out the front. So we dug a trail into the up to the vault. We found some of this. I think this is coconut fibers from the flood tunnels on Oak Island. I'll have to check that out. Now across the road from us, across the wash, is this prospect. Above it is another prospect, and further still above that is what is called the Monte Cristo Center mine. So it's two prospects and a mine on this property that we are looking into. Here my wife is working out some aggressions, showing the door who's boss. That's about a 1/4 inch thick steel plate door with iron fittings. Now the frame of the door has pretty much rotted away. It goes down to as far as where the dirt has been piling up against it, and anything below ground level is rotted away. So I broke out my saws and hammers and other implements of destruction and built a new frame. So here we'll take a look inside after my wife had cleaned it out. So we're pretty much down to rock now on the floor. But here's the inside of it, not too big. Apparently they were using this as a prospect originally. They dug it as a prospect following a vein, and it didn't pan out, so they decided to make it a vault. Here's the old hardware, the original hardware. We reused the hardware and replaced the wood, and this is what we have now. Side posts for the doorway are 6x6s, and the top post is a 6x10, or the sill, the top sill. So it was quite a bit of cutting and fitting in, especially since the frame was plastered in with concrete after it was originally put in. Trying to fit in a wood frame inside of a concrete border is kind of difficult. So we're going to head back down to the mules, and take them up to the old Spanish mine. And this mine is one that is all hand dug. There's pick marks on the walls and no dynamite drills. And my wife decided this would be her next venture. So here's what we have now, or currently. If you look up on the side there, you'll see the shovels. That's the original dirt level. So we've gone down about 3 or 4 feet. It's a lot of dirt. And now we're starting to open the front up. So if we look inside here, get an idea of what it looks like. What is that? Oh, it's the dog. Okay. Sometimes you get some strange animals around here. Now these are open stopes that were cut from the Monte Cristo main shaft, or down to the main shaft. This is a 120-foot shaft. Goes down to the chapel vault on Oak Island. And we've discovered some old timbers down there that we're going to try pulling up. And to do so, I have cobbled together this contraption. It is a boom for the front of the tractor. It has a small winch on the front, an electric winch that we can use to drop down the cable and hook it up to some of the old beams and pull them up. Now in the stope areas, when they stoped it up to the surface, they actually broke through the top and dirt's been falling in and the tunnel caved in, so the beams are not holding anything up. So here we've got the winch. It works. It's remote control. I'd prefer not to have a remote control, but this is what I could afford at the time, so it's rated at 2,000 pounds. I don't expect to get anywhere near that. A lot of chain holding the boom up. And that T-work back in the back of the bucket there, that holds the boom center so it doesn't slip around and slide out, fall out. Like they say, if you can't weld a lot. I can't weld, as you can see, so I just weld a lot. It seems to be holding, though. We're going to put this thing through its paces and make sure that it stays together. Raise it up and jerk it around some and see if any of my welds pop. So it's quite maneuverable. You can get probably about 20 feet of lift out of it just from the boom in the bucket. and then add the cable to that, maneuverability of the tractor, you get yourself a pretty good tool. But the question is how much will it lift? Putting a boom out in front of a tractor, you got to multiply the weight that you put on the end by the length of the boom, and that adds up fast. So we're going to lift up this drag bar here. This is 2 old railroad ties, the big old railroad, not the small mine railroad ties, or not ties, track. So this stuff is actually pretty heavy. This unit here weighs about 650 pounds. 2 railroad tracks welded side by side. So let's lift it up and see what we can do. Okay, first we kind of test out the beam and put a load on it. Then we'll use the winch and see how well the winch does. Sounds like it's struggling a bit, but it's lifting fine. And 680 pounds is far more than I ever expect to use this boom for. I'm noticing something a little strange. The tractor seems to have lost a bit of stability, and I see what's going on. Let's move the camera to the back here. Got so much torque on that boom and bucket out front that it's actually lifting the back end of the tractor off the ground. So we'll probably limit the load on this boom to 300 or 400 pounds just to make sure we don't pull the tractor down a hill or something. But all in all, that's worked out pretty well. We took it up the hill and pulled out a couple of beams. This is a rig that Robert had set up to try and pull the beams up. But I beat him to it. I built my metal rig and the metal tractor monster and pulled a couple of beams up with that. I don't trust the ropes, so we got to be careful. Now this is what we're working in. Right here where the blue arrow is, those are the stopes. And this is the shaft, which goes down 130 feet to the lower mine. That's here where this blue arrow is. That's the shaft. So we're going down into the stopes, which used to be a tunnel leading into the upper mine. But since it was stoped out to the surface, it's collapsed, and these are some of the timbers. They don't look all that bad. I may reuse them in the shoring up of one of the other mines. This one's rough saw cut.
Not rotted.
This is a top sill. You can see by the notches on the ends. I used to sit on top of the posts. And now we have our melody of frogs. This is what I recorded during a night stay up there. Frogs are coming out. Alrighty, next day we're changing this chain. It's about ready to blow out. This is our chain mill that we used on our second stage crushing of the ore. First stage is the jaw mill. So we're going to change out this chain here. Hold on just a moment while I work this ratchet. Now this chain isn't very durable. This is a used one that I had. So I flipped it over and put it back in so it wears on the other side of the chain link. It basically uses one link to do most of its pulverizing. And it's not cheap. It's about $45 a set. So we try and keep it to a minimum. Alright, well, thank you for stopping by. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll be seeing you again soon.